we kill the dragon once, we can do it again. With your help, of course.
Let's go find some fucking food. Do I have any food on me?
Divine smile on you, friend.
Yeah, I got food. What's next on my list of things to do?
You tried mercenary work? It might suit you.
Looking for my husband, Nazim? Check the Jarl's backside. That's usually where he's
A fine day to... Yorick's sister? Poor child. Magic runs deep in that family's bloodline. It's not always a blessing. Thank you for this. Something for your trouble.
Thank you.
Grace of Kinnereth be with you.
Yeah, now moral. I'm now a thing of something.
I'd be a lot more.
Oh, sorry, Miss Honeybee. I was looking at something. Yeah, someone asked me on my Facebook a question about my designs of being gamed, about my game design passions and stuff. So I kind of got into a heated discussion. Sorry for not answering sooner. Basically, what they had asked me was, they were asking, we brought up, like, old classic games we wanted to see remade, and I brought up that, oh, I'm gonna remake the Sly Cooper game, not really remake, re-release? Remaster, I guess is the right word to use in regards to Sly Cooper. I was gonna remaster the Sly Cooper games, because I really fucking like them, and I want the next generation of gamers to feel that, and I'm not doing it for the money. Like, for my other games that I'm gonna wind up making, the ones I've talked about in the past videos, those ones I will be doing for money, but the Sly Cooper one, I could go into the fucking red for it. I wouldn't care. I just want to make that game. I want to make people happy by playing the Sly Cooper games again, even if it hopefully changing up, and hopefully getting the next generation literally by making a generational sequel after Thieves in Time with maybe a mini game, maybe 2 or 3 chapters long. Or maybe a chapter minigame, a demo that's like free to download. it's... I think one of the main reasons that I like Sly Cooper is because it was like I think it was like the third video game I had ever played on a console. Before I played Sly Cooper, my first console was a Game Boy Color, and I had 2 games on that one, really. I had Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, the Game Boy Advanced version, and some Scooby-Doo game that I don't remember at all. But then when I got my PlayStation, finally, I had 2 games on it. I had, at first I had 2 games. I had just Jak and Daxter, and I had, what was it? Pro Bass Fishing. Surprisingly, Pro Bass Fishing was actually pretty fun, considering I was like 6 or 7 at the time that I got it. This was back in like, I think 2003 maybe? I don't know. But Sly Cooper came in, was like my 3rd game, and I guess Sly Cooper's personality was incredibly entertaining to listen to, and I guess it's hard to explain his personality exactly. It's like a cockamamie thief. I don't know if cockamamie is the right word. He's just an incredibly entertaining character that can be both incredibly sarcastic at one moment, but actually knows when it's time to get serious and when there are times to crack jokes. So it has a good balance in that one. The stories are interesting. The villains are pretty hilarious, as are some of the newspaper clippings. Like one of the newspaper clippings in the first game, you can read like in the top in one of the corners. The devs didn't, or the people that played through the quality assurance testing didn't catch it because one of the stories, because every time you beat a mission, it'll tell a story like cop with some sort of pun, like sexy vixen or something along those lines captures malicious toad. A sublong short foil. And in one of the newspaper clippings, apparently one of the developers that was making it was putting overworked, and they got, it was like, I'm working on this over my holiday. So that's kind of more just an Easter egg kind of thing, but it's kind of the I guess it's the tongue-in-cheek humor, the homage to the old comic book cartoons, where it's like, and it just feels really, really good. It's an amazing game to play. The first one's a little bit, there's a massive play style gap between the first game and the next 3 games. The first game is a gauntlet type thing, where you take one hit and you're dead kind of thing. So you have to get like really good at dodging all the enemy's attacks, but all of the enemy's attacks are like really easy to predict. Some of the things, but then this next one, it replaces the one-hit kill mechanic with a health bar. So there's that, and then it also changes it from here's a central hub, and there's like 6 missions that you have to complete in any order, to a coherent kind of storyline that the missions follow through. The next three definitely get better. The second one is pretty much universally described as the best one of the 4.
Aye, now that's
simply because it lets you play as Bentley and Murray, who are the turtle with bombs and a giant purple hippo that punches things. The first one is definitely fun, but it's like the first one. It came out in 2001, and if you actually know what you're doing, like you're not, if you know where everything, if you're not going for like a full 100% completion, you have to do all the time. If you're not going for doing all the time trials and finding all the bottles and safes, then the first Sly Cooper game you can beat
is full of wisdom and magic
in about 4 or 5 hours. But it's like a
eyes open.
It was like really small development team that made it, so
Then by my right as Jarl, I name you Thane
But the
of
second and
Yalmarch.
third game
Congratulations.
are much
I
longer.
grant you this weapon from my armory to
11
serve
and
as your
12
badge of
hours
office.
about without 100%
I'll also notify my
completion.
guards
Like
of
just
your new
going through the
title.
story, they have 11
Wouldn't
or 12
want them
hours.
to think you're part of the common
With
rabble
just
now.
normal gameplay. The second one is
All right then.
let's see if there's a fucking. Is there? Where's the alchemy? Where's the enchanter's team? Is it over here? But yeah, the second one is universally acclaimed as the better, as the best of the four. The third is good. And the fourth one, while it's not bad, it kinda...
The Legion's always looking for
The
strong.
writing gets a little bad in the
you've got
fourth
what
one
it
because
takes?
but it wasn't
The
made
Jarl
by...
has appointed me to be your house guard. It's an honor to serve.
What is it?
Yeah, so the fourth one, it has the most amazing... Okay, guard, just walk along the bottom. The fourth one has some of the most amazing visuals in any of the Sly Cooper games, and the actual mouths move. Well, the mouths move in the first three, but they're like really cartoony, and it's a super cel shaded and super simplistically made type of game in the first game. In the first three. I have already done that, yes, man. And I've already disenchanted them. Active effects. Fortify unarmed damage. I did that in the very first video, I think. Yeah, I did that in the very first video. As soon as I could, I went down to Riften, and I got the unarmed. And I also already got... the Fists of Steel, which is why I'm now doing 34 damage or something like that. I don't know how much damage I'm doing exactly. I know I've got the plus 12, or I'm doing the 12 damage from just the Khajiit Claws, 20 damage from my armor, which is, because it's 20 steel, 20 armor damage, and then an extra 2 damage from the ring and my gauntlets. And what the main idea of this walkthrough is going to be is basically I'm just going around and leveling up my enchanting and potion skill so that I can eventually cheese it and get myself to have something like 14 million damage punches, and then I can go and kill Karstag. Yep, that's what I'm doing, Longshore Foil. Anyways, back to the Sly Cooper that I was talking about for this honeybee. So yeah, the second... If you can, though, I would suggest... Believe it or not, I would actually suggest against... If it's possible, get the original copies of the Sly Cooper game. Get the ones on the PS2 for all 3 of them, and then get the... obviously get the PS4 version of Sly, not PS4, PS3 of Sly 4. But if it's not possible, then go ahead and get the demo, or not the demo, go ahead and get the remake that they did. But for some reason, there are a few glitches in the remake that aren't in the original one. Like, if you die in this one boss fight in the first game, in the remake, it'll desync the music for some reason. And then there's an occasional glitch in the remake in the second one where sometimes their ghosts won't appear when you have to try and catch them with a camera. But yeah, so if you can get it, and if you have a PS2 still, I would get the original releases of them. They should be relatively cheap, and they should be also pretty common considering they were pretty popular back in the day. On the plus side, though, if you haven't played any of them, it helps to play them all in order, but it isn't exactly required. The other ones do a decent job of, each game is its own. What they do is I really like in the series is they'll actually recap at the beginning of basic events of what happened in the first of the last game to an extent so you can somewhat understand what's going on. For example, when I started playing the games, I was incredibly young, and I was incredibly afraid of the third level of the first game when there was a giant snake monster in the water that would come up to try and eat you. And so I stopped playing it because I was scared out of my pants by it, because I was like a really, really wimpy 6-year-old. And so I wound up just kind of playing through the other games. But then for some reason, but then the first game I actually wound up beating
What do you need?
was the third game. That one was actually the easiest. Not counting the challenges, that is. There are a few parts in it that are a little bit difficult, but of the 3 games, as far as actual difficult, well, I guess the first game is the easiest, but because I was a 6-year-old when I played it, that one fear factor of the third level just freaked me out.
What is
and
it?
so that's what made me stop from
Dragons?
playing it. But, yeah, so, yeah. Just, I'm also going to give you this one warning. I would suggest against playing them all together in one sitting, because your muscle memory will fuck you up, because I don't know why they did this, but for some reason they reversed the camera controls in the 4th game from what they were in all the others. I have no idea why they did this, but for some reason they did. And if you play all the games in basically one sitting, which I have done before, it gets a little bit difficult sometimes, especially after you build up like that. It's basically 24 hours worth of muscle memory. You know what? No, I'm gonna go do the stealing thing. Awesome. SpongeBob is a great
passing
show.
through
Is
solitude?
it the new seasons or the old
Maybe you're
seasons?
looking to make some easy gold, yes?
Or is it pre-movie SpongeBob or post-movie SpongeBob?
It's easy to find things to sell. I bet the 2 of us, my sister Deja and I, are treasure hunt. I knew we have an interest. The Solitude Lighthouse will be guiding it in. What an Yes, if someone were to put out the lighthouse fire and then meet me on the docks afterwards, I could...
But yeah, Sly Cooper is basically my childhood, and it was also the thing that inspired me to go out and create video games. From when I played Sly Cooper, I'm like, I want to make something like this. And now here I am, about a few $100,000 down in debt and making... Well, I'm not making anything yet. I'm still in college making my games. But I have started. The hardest part is deciding, do I use Unity for my game, or do I start programming my own thing from scratch? I have no idea what I'm going
Pine
to do.
Moon Cave is down to the southwest.
Awesome.
It ain't fit for
Advanced placement
explorers.
that means you're going places. And that's not sarcasm, that is actually really good. It's good to get early credits. I think the best line, I think the best roast I've ever heard came from one of the most, I guess it's not really, I can't really say the best roast. The best roast that I can think of at this current moment came from one of the most recent episodes of SpongeBob. You must have been born on a highway because that's where most accidents happen. I can't really speak of anything that, I can't say that Naughty Dog has definitely improved from Jack. Well, actually, what's this? Seriously, what is this? I've never seen this door before. Actually, from a storytelling perspective... Nah, not even that. Jak and Daxter. Yeah, I'm gonna offend a lot of people. I think Jak and Daxter is better than The Last of Us. Not like just the first game, like all of them. Like all of the Jak and Daxters are better than The Last of Us. In my opinion. I can't really explain. That's why I'm glad I've got work. That's why I'm glad I work in IT, actually, I should say. Gets me plenty of free time. And by that I mean... what was it, though? But yeah, Jak and Daxter... Surprisingly, of the 3 big games... yeah, that's one of the main problems with college. See if you can apply for... Before you apply for a student loan, look at the job market for the... before you get a loan. Look at the job acceptance rate for people in that major. Look at the job acceptance rate for the major that you're going into, and then decide if it's actually worth the money you're investing in it. Because there are trade schools that you can go to that can also help you get a job. And then once you have a trade school, once you're in a trade school and have enough money, because trade schools like plumbing, and all those type of jobs that nobody likes doing, they're kind of hard. They're difficult jobs to do, but they make good money, and once you have enough money saved up from them, then you can go back and invest your new capital into what major you're going to do, what you want to do in college, rather than going straight into college and getting yourself heavily into debt. That's not what I'm doing, but I'll admit that I'm kind of from a bit more of a well-off family, so I don't really have to worry about that. I just have to basically... I'm not taking a loan from the banks. I'm kind of like basically paying off with my parents to an extent. Where am I supposed to go? I walked past the lighthouse. Oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot. Basically, me and my parents came to the agreement that they'll pay for my college as long as I don't put them in a nursing home. See if you can, yeah, I can't really deny you saying actually going to work in college. As long as you're working and making some kind of money, it's always good. Just don't settle. Don't settle. Always, and don't go for the bare minimum when it comes to working. Ever. No, don't. I know I'm unique, or not unique. I know I'm a bit more rare in that case. I know I have that special privilege thing of coming from a more well-off family, and I try not to lord it over anybody. The one thing... Yeah, it is kind of... What is this fucking thing pointing at? I don't want that quest, I want this one. But yeah, what was I talking about? Well, the job is like 20 hours a week, and it's also because there are good jobs out there. You just have to go on. You just do have to. One of the things that you can do that can really help out with jobs is just apply. Even if you don't think you meet the qualifications, just apply. Just keep putting yourself out there, and never, ever just give the bare minimum when it comes to any job you're in. First off, because if you're just giving the bare minimum in a job, then, or if you're just giving the bare minimum in a job, then you're not really learning anything from the job, and you can't use any, and you're not really gaining any skills from it. And also the people in charge of you are less likely to consider you for higher pay. So always give your best. And even if it doesn't work out, if you're giving your best and you're actually becoming skilled, then you can always go find somewhere else. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird scholarships and stuff. I wish both of you the best in your college endeavors. Like, this is not a joke. I mean, dead serious. I wish you best in your college endeavors and in your future life after college and getting jobs and families if you want to do that too. Not everyone has an easy life. And even if some people seem like they have an easy life on the surface, you never have any idea what they're going through on the inside. So always assume, never look down. I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword. Never assume that someone isn't going through trouble. I can't remember. I can't think of what I was trying to say there, because I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to think of what I was trying to say, but not make it really weird or rude sounding, because you shouldn't look down on people or just expect them to be going through trouble just because, or you shouldn't think less of people just because they're going through trouble, and you shouldn't automatically offer your help, but you should also be able to help them where you can. I'm bad at being motivational. This is why I'm going into game design, because game design and programmers are shut-ins that never really have to talk to people, which is except for their group, which is kind of a bad thing for me, because since I'm going to be planning on making a bunch of games, I'm going to be like the head designer, so I will have to talk to people. I'm going to be horrible at that. But yeah. As long as you've got... Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Longshore. Fully. Don't just assume that everything is fine with someone, but don't think that they are always going through something. My neck. The basic point is that you should...
Looks like you
don't
had
be a
no
dick
trouble.
to people. At least don't be a dick to a person.
The effects have
Unless
already
they're
been
a
felt.
dick to you
The
first,
Ice Runner has
and
failed
if
to
you
dock
know
on
where
time.
their dickishness is coming from.
Without the
Like
lighthouse,
if they're being
the
a
Ice
dick
Runner
to
would have
you
swung wide of the western
because they
shore
have like
and run aground
troubles
on the
and
eastern coast.
they're like they have a
My
really
sister
rough life and
Dija
they're
will
not
be
able
at the
to
wreck with our
really
black blood
express
marauders.
themselves well.
She knows to expect
Try and
you.
help them out first. If they're being a dick to you, like try and be understanding of where they might be coming from. Okay, foil. But if they're just being a dick because they're a fucking bully, then I can't say just deck them, because that's kind of physical assault. Wait for them to hit you first and then beat them to a pulp. Yeah, that's a good plan. If someone's bullying you, wait for them to hit you first and then beat them. Yeah, just beat them. That's the tip for fights. Never be the aggressor. Always wait for the other person to hit you first, and make sure that there are other people around to see that they hit you first. This is gonna be a long swim. get yourself a pocket knife. Better yet, get a gun. Or better yet, even better yet, go to the sewers in Riften and go equip the, fuck, I forgot the name of those gloves. And go get those, fucking, gloves from that one guy that lives down there. Shoot him in the face, steal his gloves, and then go and beat people up with your, plus 20 unarmed damage. We're gonna catch these hands. I never understood that saying, like, at all. They're gonna catch these hands. That's like, well, if they're catching your hands, that means they're blocking your attack, and you're failing at your assault. That doesn't mean you're actually successfully beating them. That saying makes no sense. Yeah, it is always best to use words. Oh no, I was talking about, like... I was talking about fights. Why did you bring up sexual fully? I was talking about getting into a fist fight with someone. That's a good point. I mean, I use that including...
You're the one who put out the fire in the lighthouse, right? Yes.
If you only use your hands, then what are you sitting on right now? Are you sitting on your hands? Or are you sitting on another part of your body? And in that case, aren't you using something other than your hands?
Hmm?
Poof! I should have come here.
Die, bitch. Yes, I need that.
What was that?
It is almost 1 in the morning.
Thought
Gonna
I
have to
heard
get-
something.
Oh, right in the fucking crotch. Oh, he's a bouncy bitch.
Huh?
I guess this is YouTube, so everything is sexual here. How much gold you got on you? Yeah, I was a little shit in high school, so I can completely see where you guys are coming from. Wait a minute. Miss Honeybee, this is an M-rated game. You're not supposed to be here. I'm just kidding. No, trust me. Trust me, Miss Honeybee. You want the college courses to hold you. Because the other option, there's two types of college courses. There's the ones that hold your hand and help everyone to pass. Where the fuck did you come from? And then there's the ones where everybody fails. I am going to die. I'm going to fucking die. Literally what I would eat for basically every single day when I went to when I was back when my school is going on, I basically just eat Subway. That's my only meal. I eat one meal. I eat Subway for lunch, and then I have like a bag of chips for dinner and breakfast. Like a little pocket bag of chips that's like 90% air. Don't worry. We phones suck. That you only use it to call people. They suck. They're a worthless invention. But yeah. But Miss Honeybee, knowing you're now in high school, I can kind of understand why you didn't play the Sly Cooper games, because they are very old generation. Do you have a PS... If you have a PS3... It's not throwing it up, Miss Honeybee. It's being able to afford it. But yeah, the Sly Cooper games are a little bit before your generation of gamers. Except for Sly 4. Sly 4 came out in 2013, so... And again, that might have still just been might have been just before yours, but that is also true. You could do that, but then you'd be a dick. Also, you have to worry. Also, with those cases, you have to. There are men that are going out now. That when women do that, they'll Fuck, Emu Paradise just got taken down. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble playing the Sly Cooper games. Then, if you don't want to play them, but you just want to listen to like the humor and stuff, I might be getting a capture card soon. If I can get a capture card for my PlayStation 3, I might do a playthrough of them. If I can get let me rephrase that. If I can get a capture card for my PS3, you can guarantee that the very first thing that I do is going to be playing the Sly Cooper games on this channel. The first thing I do once I get a PlayStation 3 capture card. Yeah. The problem is, I have no idea where to get a capture card, and the one time I did look up a capture card for a video game system, it was for the 3DS, and it required me to either buy a 3DS system from this guy that did the capture cards, or send my 3DS system through the mail to him. And the problem with doing the walkthrough of the Sly Cooper games is I would probably end up just playing through the first game, like in one sitting, because that's all I really do with it. I just play straight through it because it's so addicting for me. I guess it's not really addicting. I just really like the playstyle of the first game. I don't do like speed runs of it or anything. I mean, sometimes I do like do a little bit of speed cheats where I'll skip parts of a level because some of them are super easy to go around. But on the plus side, I'm working an extra 10 hours a week this coming semester, so I'll have an extra $400 of income from my job, so that I should be able to afford at least one PlayStation capture card unless it requires me to buy a whole bunch of stuff. Have you played Grand Theft Auto 5? I ask that because in the Sly Cooper games, they... Okay, so... Remember the heists from the 5th game? That's basically what all the Sly Cooper games are. Except more thievery and no guns. Well, let me rephrase that. Some of the later, like... There are some of them with guns. But, like, not like actual guns. They're like turrets that fire energy blasts and shit. But, yeah. You don't get to choose, like, your setup. It's all set in stone what the setup is. But it is basically going through the heists. Basically going through heists for all of them. It's the entire game and it's really fun. At least for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th ones. For the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Sly Cooper games, they're all like... why am I getting arrows? I don't need arrows. They're just straight heists. Or not, I shouldn't say straight heists. There's like a whole bunch of setup missions. Because they do, what they do in Sly Cooper, they have like, it goes in a basic kind of order of, here's a reconnaissance mission, or you have to get into X location and find things out. Then you make up a then the characters make up a plan. And then after that, you wind up going through the big heist, which winds up being the big boss fight at the end. That is one complaint I do have about the Sly Cooper games. That is one place that does get kind of weak, and that's in the boss fights. Like, they're basic. The boss fights are definitely the weak part. They're basic pattern things, really. It's, can you memorize this pattern and react to it? The only time it's really super, except for in the 2nd one, where there's like 1 or 2 boss fights in the 2nd one, where it's basically you just run around and, or not run around, you just basically charge up to the guy and kill him. I mean, obviously not right away, but it's basically just run up and start punching him. Man, I don't even have 2 million damage and it's already, they're already dying in one hit. Oh, except for this one. Fuck.
Guess it's all clear.
No, not that type of pattern memorization fully. I mean, like, watching the boss and seeing what they do.
Was someone there? Time to end this little game.
Is there a fire nearby? No, there is not. Where the fuck are you? How the fuck did you get up there? How did I miss it? Hello, so exhausted. I'm Dad.
What was that? Time to end this little game.
Oof. Oh, that had to hurt. That had to fucking hurt. But yeah, personally, my favorite part of the Sly Cooper games, the only reason that I really like the 4th game above the other ones, because that's actually a very uncommon thought among the people that play the Sly Cooper games. I like the 4th one a lot because the maps are so huge. I just fucking love it. I love the explore. I guess not the exploration, just the jumping around and feeling like a thief, like a nimble thief that can go from rooftop to rooftop in a single jump is so amazing. I just fucking love it. Well, there's one time to just warm up. How is this not lighting?
Poof! Oh!
That's feeling weird. I think everyone here hates talking. We're YouTubers after all, even though I've been talking a lot. Anyways,
Is someone there? Over here.
I have potions, right? Yes, I have potions.
Come on.
Why are my punches not fucking hitting him? That was really weird how much fucking well, at least Kogar's dead. Get up here, Torito. Get a date with my fucking fists.
You're nothing.
Oh my god, it's amazing. I was able to pick up that book and read it without disturbing the potion on me. I'm a magician. Oof. Where's that captain? I probably should have grabbed that key, actually, now that I think about it. Is this better? Anyways, I do have to... I've been streaming for about 53 minutes. And I do have to get up to drive my... Thank you, I'm very glad to hear that. Anyways, I do have to get up to go and drive my dog to a place tomorrow, daycare thingy. Once you donate to my Patreon, I will read you the bedtime story of the Doom Slayer. But yeah, I do have to probably get headed out now. Got to go to bed so I can get up at 7 and start driving immediately. So be on the lookout for my next stream. As soon as I see you on, I'll pull up the Ballad of the Doom Slayer, and I will read it on the microphone, and I'll see if I can see how long I can do the Doom voice before my throat rips in half. In the first age. Ah, fucking hell. Really, bitch? I have no arrows. Fucking hell, land. I need to punch you. It's 12:54. Where the fuck are you? Land. Yes, come on, let me get over to him before he takes off again. And there I punched it to death again. Power of the One Punch Cat. So 6 to midnight, or 6 to 1. Anyways, this is as good a place as any to, oh wait. Oh, I already, oh my god, anyways, thank you all for watching. This has been Darkmane the Wanderer playing Skyrim Part 8 of my One Punch Cat walkthrough. I certainly enjoyed this playthrough today. Hope you did enjoy it too. And I look forward to doing more of these, hopefully a little bit earlier. What? Maybe, yeah. Hopefully a little bit earlier. I'll see you all next time. Peace. I'm also going to be looking into buying a PlayStation 3 capture card.